Hello, everyone, and welcome to the table. So, I just got my hands on a knife from ProTech, and this right here is the Cadillac of California legal auto knives. And so, they make this one. This one's called the BR-1, the Magic or the Whiskers. I've seen a few different names for it, and we can see on the box actually what they call it right here. So, the California edition of this knife, and this seems to be a limited run that was made. And to be honest with you, I think all the runs of this knife are fairly limited because I've wanted this knife for, at this point, several years, and I just haven't ever found them in stock. So what we have right here is a really nice side opening auto, aluminum handles, and you can see there's this bolster design. So it looks really nice, and that bolster is how you open the knife. So I can go ahead and show you that now. So you can see that blade flies right out of the handle, and we have our sub 2-inch California legal blade on this knife. All right, let's see how much this knife weighs in at. It feels pretty lightweight. Let's see, 2.8 ounces, so pretty respectable, 2.8 ounce knife. And we can check out our overall length of this knife as well. So hold it up to the ruler right there, check that out. So of course our blade length is less than 2 inches, just by a smidge. And the overall length is about 6 inches long. 6 inches long. So 6 inches of overall length. So it's still a small knife, but we do get this nice hand filling handle with it. So this is just a really cool design, very modern and slick looking. And so again, aluminum handles. We have a gray aluminum for most of the handles here. And the bolsters are a black aluminum, and they have some nice texture to it, which is nice because that is how, of course, you actuate the blade. And the lock on this knife is really cool. It's actually a very ingenious design. So it's something that's very unique, and I love unique when it comes to knives because everything nowadays is a side opening auto. It's an out the front. This one is a little bit different though. And so let me show you how it works. So we have our knife in the closed position, and this bolster, there's no indication that it moves at all. But of course, when you put your thumb on it and move it kind of in this direction, you have to press and push. That works this lock mechanism, and that blade pops right out. So the spring action is very, very tight. It's very springy. So as soon as you move this lock out of the way, that blade flies right out of the handle. So as designed. So it basically looks like, to me, in function, this is like a lockback style mechanism. And so on your traditional lockback knives, your lock is usually back here. You press it down, and then the lock works up, and it allows the knife to be open and closed, or closed essentially. So on this particular model, the lock still moves up, but you are physically moving it up with your thumb. So let me kind of show you. I don't know if I can show you this on camera. So we have our lock right here, and as you push it up, you can see that bolster slides over and pushes the lock bar up right there. So it's kind of a cool design in that way. So you push the lock up with the bolster, and then you can close the blade into the handle. So pretty smart design because it's a very clean knife. There is very little exposed hardware, not a lot to it. So very simple to look at, very elegant in my opinion, very much a gentleman's knife. And again, once you need it though, the slightest movement, once you know how to do it, and the knife comes flying out. So really cool. The blade itself, right here, we can see it's a Stonewash finish on the grind, and there's a flat satin on it. And the blade steel here is kind of an interesting choice. So this is a 154 cm steel blade. And it's, again, in 2024, almost 2025, that is a blade steel that we don't see too much anymore of. And so the fact that we have it on this knife is actually kind of cool. And so it makes me think that, I'm thinking ProTech might have made a run of these blades, maybe years ago. And as time goes on, they're slowly building the blades into knife bodies. And so I'm thinking this blade may be from an older run simply because we don't see 154 cm used very much on knives in this day and age. So kind of a cool little thing I'm thinking of. And I could be wrong totally. That's all speculation. But again, very elegant. We have a nice deep carry pocket clip, and it has a DLC black coating on it, completely smooth with the handle. So it carries just fine, nice and deep, and there's no issues getting in or out of pocket. So it feels pretty good in hand. And again, the knife overall, there's not a whole lot of grip, but it does have those little grooves to get your hand in there. And what I really appreciate about this knife from ProTech is that we have a full-size knife handle with the California legal blade. because all too often we get very tiny handles for the California legal knives because they're meant to be more of, little utility knives, box cutters, what have you. And so I have a few examples that I can show you on the table here. So we have the full size Magic right here, California legal. So let's just set that down. And one of the more common, ProTech models, or even I should just say California legal autos out there, are smaller like this one right here. So this one's the ProTech Runt. And again, you can see it's a small blade, but they also give it a small body. So you can't quite get a full grip on it. So seeing those side by side, you can see there's the definite size difference there. And so I really do appreciate that this knife has the larger handle, which makes it a lot more useful, in my opinion. We also have the ProTech Calmigo, slightly larger handle in hand, but again, same California legal blade. This particular one has a lock action or a locking mechanism on it, so you can lock the blade. So that's kind of a cool feature on the Calmigo right here. But of course, this is not ProTech's first full-size handle for a California legal auto. They actually have a run of the half-breed out. And so this one right here, again, we see the nice full-size handle, very slick design, very classy looking. But again, nice full-size handle with the smaller blade. And so again, ProTech being a California company, they are making knives for the California market, which is not something that every company does or does in large quantities. So I do love that there's a whole subgenre of these California legal autos. I think they're just really neat, and there's a lot of possibilities when you're kind of limited by that blade size. So again, it's maybe not the most useful knife you'll carry with you on a daily basis, but it's cool to see the companies innovate and come up with new stuff. And they're still releasing these. So I've seen a few dealers in the past few days come out with this model. So if this model interests you, go jump on your favorite knife sites and see if there are any in stock. They go in stock, and predictably so, they go out of stock fairly quickly as well. So that's my recommendation there. We also do have on this bolster, you'll notice there are 2 screws on there. So these are T6 sized screws. And I noticed that as you loosen it or tighten it, you kind of can change the tension that's on the bolster. So something that you can make it really easy to actuate. And so right now I kind of have them set in the middle so I can still fairly quickly open it, but it's also not like a full bear to get over to the side. So if you tighten them down, you'll really have to bear down and like move your finger over to get that blade out. But I'm kind of tweaked in the middle right now. So you can kind of tighten it or loosen it to your taste. And like I was saying, there's not a lot of hardware. We have one more little body screw back near the pocket clip, but really a cool piece. So definitely something I wanted to share with everyone out there. Everything on this knife, again, is very impressive because if you've ever handled any knife from ProTech, you know they make great quality stuff. Everything is very precision, very smooth, very precise, very clean. A lot of their knives, have the nice aluminum handles, and they just age and wear very nicely, regardless of whether you make your knife a safe queen or whether it's in your pocket, 5 days a week. So that's kind of just what I wanted to share with everybody out here on the table. So if you have any questions on this knife, feel free to drop a comment below. Hope you all have a nice day, and I will see you later.